Dear Poultry friends, welcome to the episode number 9 of Tannin with the Experts. In this episode, Martynas Genys shared with us his experience of controlling Gumboro disease in East Europe and Russia. So stay tuned with the experts and know all about controlling Gumboro disease. Enjoy! Hi poultry industry colleagues, we are here today and I'm really glad to receive in Tannin with the Experts Martynas Genys. How are you doing today?
Fine.
Okay, good, I'm okay. Okay, he's coming directly from Lithuania to our conversation and to apport us a really valuable discussion today on how to control Gumboro disease. So, I know that you have a really very practical experience working, well, not just controlling Gumboro disease, but with several other diseases and in East Europe and other countries, okay? In a nutshell, can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
For a couple of years, let's say after in the beginning of my career, I worked as private vet. After that, for years, I worked for government. And now, 20 years, more or less, maybe a little bit less than 20, I'm working for poultry industry. Mm-hmm. And before Ceva, I worked in big poultry integration as chief vet, and now 10 years I'm in Ceva, like veterinarian practitioner, to helping our customers to understand field situation, to help them.
Okay, really nice. I think it's going to be really wonderful to bring this field experience to our conversation here, to our discussion. And because in the end of the day, what makes the difference, what we do in the field, and not just the concept, but where we can get the final results. Okay, I would like to start our conversation today. So starting from Russia, that you know that's a really large country with different challenges, different situations, different epidemiological situations, the conditions, not just regarding Gumboro disease, but in several cases, the different combination as well with other disease that, as we know, the poultry house, we can have different virus, different challenges. Based in the epidemiology survey of Gumboro disease that was done in the last years and the monitoring, all the monitoring work that is done in the field, what can you tell us about the challenge in the field in Russia?
If we are talking about Russia, it is interesting country with interesting companies, and really, if we are talking about Gumboro disease itself, it is never boring disease, and field challenge. Let's say we can find from for different regions in different companies, we can find different situations, from high challenge to low challenge, and this is very depends on regional situation and what is going on the farm.
Okay, what do you see in the last years? If Gumboro control, do you think that's improving, or we still have the high pressure and a high challenge for the birds?
Yeah. If we are talking about challenge, I think, and control of Gumboro disease, I think we are not moving somewhere, and indeed, we just do not see too much field outbreaks with real mortality and cases, but still we have the same situation with Gumboro disease, that it is present. And if you will ask for vets, do you see what you think about Gumboro disease, they will say yes, we have this problem.
Okay, so if I understood well, even if we had a change from more clinical signs to more subclinical signs that was not so well perceived, we still have a lot of room for improvement for the control.
Yes, we still have a lot to do.
Expanding our conversation a little bit for the neighbor countries surrounding Russia and all the East Europe, how do you see the difference on similarities about this situation?
I think everywhere is similar. Every vet will tell that yes, we have field pressure with Gumboro, almost all, yes. But when we will ask when you saw last time the real Gumboro, they will must think.
And just to clarify a little bit, what do you mean when you say subclinical Gumboro disease?
Subclinical Gumboro disease, what I'm meaning that this is disease when you do not see anything related, no clinical signs, nothing. Just when you're starting to dig in your field situation, different problems like bronchitis, Newcastle disease or another things, then you're starting to think about Gumboro.
Following a little bit the studies around the world and about the current situation of Gumboro disease, yes, it's true that the most common scenario is the subclinical disease. Why do you think it's happening?
It is different. There are a few different things indeed. One thing it is what kind of strategy we are using on the field. Mm-hmm. Another thing it is what about quality of vaccination. Mm-hmm. Yes, and another thing it is biosecurity.
How we can conduct, for example, a monitoring process in the field?
It can be several cases. As I mentioned, which kind of strategy you're using, meaning which kind of vaccines you're using and control of the process. And then we must then to understand how we will monitor, how we will see what is going on in the field. One case when, let's say, when you using HVT authorized vaccines, yes, then it is one thing. How long you are using that? Another case when you are using drinking water vaccination, then how you are doing quality control. These kind of monitoring tools you must to adjust. And another thing, if you are using immune complex vaccines, yes, Transmoon, let's say, then about when we talking about monitoring and something like that, we must think about quality of vaccination again. And in every step, when we are using whatever vaccine we use we must find out the right monitoring tools.
So you mentioned something that for me is extremely important. You mentioned about the vaccination quality. So in one side you have, of course, the technology of vaccine, as you mentioned, drinking water vaccine, HVT-EBD vaccine, or immune complex vaccine, that is different technologies that you are going to expect different results, of course, as they are acting in a different way to protect the Gumboro in the bird. So, thinking about the quality of application, the quality of vaccination itself, what is the main challenge that you perceive in the field for the poultry producer?
As usual, it is again how to do if using drinking water vaccination, drinking water vaccines, how to do proper vaccination in the field. As usual, as I am seeing, it is not as it was maybe 20, 30 years ago when you were vaccinating one house in one day. Now you must vaccinate 20, maybe more houses in one day. Yes, and then how to do, how many people you will use for that, and how many time you have to do this vaccination, and in the end, which vaccine you're using. And it is indeed very, very big issue when people are starting to use hot vaccine strains, and they are thinking that hot vaccine strains will improve the quality of vaccination because maybe they are strong. But from the field experience, from the monitoring, by doing PCR in the bursas and everything, we see that which vaccine, whatever vaccine you will use, you will have problems with quality of vaccination. And indeed in very big integrations, indeed in quite good conditions and good quality of from the outside, you see that quality of vaccination quite well done. But when we see doing serology, we see quite nice results, yes? But after, when we are doing PCR, we see what we talking field infection in the bursas, and then we're starting to think about a subclinical form of disease, and then starting to think about another disease control, because they are all related to each other.
So, Martynas, I understood from you that we have an important part as well, that is understanding the results that we can get by serology, by PCR, and using it for the proper control, using it for the proper diagnosis, and after all, going for the proper control, right?
Yeah.
What kind of gaps do you still see when you were running this kind of diagnosis, really to understand the Gumboro challenge?
You know, the biggest gap at the moment, it is, I think, missing point relation Gumboro disease with respiratory disease problems, because they are so related. And we proved a lot of time with the team that when we see serology of the Gumboro, yes, not bad, yes, but by PCR we're finding very virulent IBD field virus. Then we can start to see what is going on, let's say, with bronchitis, with Newcastle disease. Yes, even we few times we saw that this field virus challenge or hot virus impact on the immunity on Newcastle disease or IBV on bronchitis impact is so huge that sometimes people doing a lot of efforts to fight against bronchitis, infectious bronchitis, changing vaccines, changing vaccination program, but do not doing relations with the Gumboro disease itself. Because when we are talking about Gumboro on serology, only on serology, everyone is happy. But when we starting to see what we find in the bursas, when we starting to compare performances, we starting to see opening the big Pandora box. Mm-hmm. And this is the main gap. What I am seeing, that it is missing this relation, Gumboro disease with another disease control.
I agree with you that even if we're talking about different disease, we are still talking about one bird or one flock and just one health in the end.
Yeah.
So we need to have all this correlation. So, taking from your experience, if you're going to put like steps how to control Gumboro disease or the health of the bird in general, can you tell us what the steps that you need to follow to achieve a good result?
To start to think from day-old chick, yes, what kind of day-old chicks we have, from what sources we have, yes. Next step, how many diseases we must to control in one bird. If we are talking now about broilers, in 40 days, yes. And then this is second step to set up a vaccination program, what means protect the chick. Yes. And second thing, the third thing maybe, or not second, it is to think about performance in the end. How much we will impact the performance with our huge vaccination programs, what we want to do. Maybe to go to the simple. Be simple to achieve good results.
I agree with you. The simplicity, most of the times, is more effective than a higher complexity. Great. I have one last question to close. And what is your advice for the poultry vets when the topic is Gumboro disease?
I would suggest from the beginning to set up good monitoring program, to discuss with the experts, to build, if it is not in place, to build the good database in serology, PCR, performance, to put all together, and based on that to take the right decisions.
Great. So I would like to thanks a lot, Martynas, for the discussion today. I think all the apport of this valuable experience from the field, so applying the concepts to the reality in the field was extremely important to us. So thank you again.
Thank you, Marco.
And you, please keep in touch with us. Keep turning it with the experts. Goodbye. Thank you for watching this episode. And do not hesitate to give us your feedback by commenting down below in the comment section. Goodbye, stay safe.